Hello everybody, welcome back to the Final Fantasy X walkthrough. Got a little bit of dialogue to take care of, and then we'll fire the commentary back up.
Orders are orders.
I'm not a cadet anymore, sir. Let me go with you and I'll prove it to them.
Guarding the command center is important too, you know.
But I came all the way from Besaid to fight Sin, sir.
I know, but an order's an order. To your post, Crusader.
But, sir!
They let you through, huh?
Gata deserves better.
At least there's no chance he'll get hurt. Why are you guys fighting anyway? Aren't the almighty outbed Machina enough?
They still need some time to get them ready. Our job is to keep Sin at bay till they're done. Waka. I might not get another chance to say this. It's about your brother.
Luzu, no!
What?
I'm the one who convinced him to enlist. I'm sorry.
Waka! That's enough, Waka!
When we used to play Blitz together, Chapu used to say... He said that when we won the cup, yeah, he proposed to Lulu. And then one day, he goes off and becomes a Crusader, just like that.
Chapu also said to me that being with your girl is good. But keeping Sin far away from her is better.
Lu, you knew?
Luzu told me before we left.
She hit me too.
All Crusaders in the Vanguard are to assemble on the beach.
That's my cue.
Luzu, don't die out there.
So you can hit me more?
Lots more.
Luzu, please! Please don't go!
I have to, Yuna.
Let him go. The man has already chosen his path, as you did when you became a summoner.
It would be a long time before I ever really understood the reason why Yuna let Luzu pass that day.
Alright, so by a little dialogue, I actually meant a lot of dialogue. Alright, so a lot of dialogue there, obviously, about Luzu and his history, I suppose, with Chapu, and kind of how all their stories kind of intertwine, I suppose. Luzu obviously convincing, I guess, Chapu to join with the Crusaders, which obviously created a little feelings. I don't know, maybe between him and Lulu and Waka. But anyways, let's get these mobs down here. Take care of some business. We're getting back to taking care of, I don't know. Something like that. I just summoned Ifrit there because I wanted to keep going and not necessarily get bogged down in all these different battles. The interesting thing with this game is it feels like there's it's very how would I describe it? Well, there'll be a ton of, you'll just do a ton of random battles back to back to back to back to back, and then you'll do a bunch of dialogue, you know, and not as many battles, and then once the story stuff is kind of done, then it's boom 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 right back to just a ton of different random encounters. So it's kind of nice, you know. I feel like they did a pretty good job of breaking it all up because, you know, you can only do so many random encounters before you kind of get burnt out, and likewise, sometimes you know there's so much dialogue where you're like, man, I kind of want to just kill some stuff. So again, I feel like they did a pretty good job of striking a balance between the two.
Curses! Ow! Ugh.
He really hates them, huh?
Chapu. He left the sword Waka gave him in Besaid, and he fought with an Al-Bhed Machina weapon instead.
That's got nothing to do with it. I just hate these sacrilegious contraptions.
Alright, so there you've got perhaps a little glimpse as to why Waka hates the Al-Bhed so much. Basically, when Chapu left to become a Crusader, he left behind the sword that Waka gave him and took an Al-Bhed weapon instead. Obviously, yeah, I could totally understand that then, why he would be a little upset. But on top of that, though, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if that's the only reason. I'm not really sure, but actually it probably not. From what Waka just said there, he says, no, that's not the only reason. It's because I just hate these sacrilegious contraptions. So it's, from what he's saying, whether it's not, you know, or whether it's true or not, he is saying, though, that it's more because of, I guess, his beliefs. You know, he believes in Yevon's teachings so much, and, you know, essentially Yevon says no Machina, or as we will find soon enough, they actually allow certain Machina and not others. So, you know, if that's not setting off some more red flags, then I guess I don't know what would.
It won't work anyway.
Don't say that. It might be a hopeless campaign, and it might mean defying Yevon. But the Crusaders and the Al-Bhed, they're doing their best to defeat sin. They want to rid Spira of sin forever. And that's just what we want too, isn't it? Isn't it?
All right. But I still think Machina are bad news. They're forbidden for a reason.
Lady Summoner, there you are. The command center is that way. Maester Keenock is also there.
Maester Keenock too?
Yes. Please, hurry, my lady.
Alright, so Yuna there, once again, makes a really good point. You know, essentially, the Crusaders are working together with the Elbed in order to, you know, essentially keep Spear safe. But then Waka, at the same time, says, you know, yeah, but Machina are just bad news. There's a reason why they're forbidden. So, in all actuality, I agree with them both. I think there are some real-world applications to those statements. Number one, you know, people working together, duh. Number two, you know, it's hard to say, you know, the way things are, you know, whether or not weapons. I'm a firm believer that things like nuclear weapons and whatnot just should not. And I can't believe I'm even getting into this subject. But you know what? We might as well. It's just ridiculous, like those things even exist. There should be no reason for that stuff. I mean, something that can, you know, have that sort of destructive power. No reason why that should even exist. You know, if we are not smart enough or capable enough to work out issues, you know, between people and whatnot, then that's just ridiculous. That would mean that we failed hardcore somewhere. But anyways, I agree with both statements from Yuna as well as Waka. You know, in that you know, they're working together for the greater good, and then at the same time, Waka's like, well, these things shouldn't even, you know, they shouldn't be used. They're bad news, blah blah blah. So again, I agree with them both to a certain extent. All right, save the game here. I would recommend saving here. I don't think this is the last point that you need to save.
Monopoly's a
by the
great
way,
thing.
so like I
Things
was
are
saying
selling
earlier,
no
I missed
matter
one
what
of
the
the
price.
primers.
Oops, sorry. I
At
forgot.
this point, you could actually still technically go back and get that Elbed primer, but that won't be an option forever. Here, okay, so Owaka here has some fantastic weapons, which I would recommend getting, especially that TKO. That TKO with the Stone Touch is amazing. The Sentry is okay, because it's got initiative on it. The Avenger's great because it's got counterattack on it. So those three weapons especially I like, as well as that Lucid Arm Guard because it's got the Confuse Ward on it. So again, I mean, that was like 4 items there that I picked up. Obviously that took a huge chunk of change. Luckily I didn't buy, you know, the crappier weapons through using the...
The operation will begin shortly. Please check all your equipment.
The donations.
Of course not. I came here to fight sin, but they stick me here.
If you want to prove yourself.
Huh?
First, you must complete the tasks you are given.
Alright, so Gada's obviously not happy, and here you have to interact, or you can interact with him. If you choose the second option twice, he will live. If you choose anything else, Luzu will live instead of Gada. So,
even if it means bending the
it kind of affects the rest of the game in a very minor way. I don't think that it really, you know, as far as your characters and, you know, there's no sort of hidden items or anything like that. It's just who you're going to see for the rest of the game, essentially.
I had heard from Seymour, but I didn't know if we'd actually meet. Good to see you, Oren. 10 years, is it?
That's Wen Kinok, one of the 4 maesters of Yevon. He leads the warrior monks, and also commands the Crusaders.
All troops ready to move at your command, sir.
Good. Dismissed.
Sir!
Tell me, Oren, where have you been the last 10 years?
We don't have time for this now, do we?
This plan won't work, you know that. We'll just let them dream a little longer.
What?
Lord Kinok.
Oh, yes. Proceed.
That Kinok a maester?
I heard that, Oren. A lot has happened the last 10 years. What were you doing and where?
Fulfilling a promise I made to a friend. I still am.
Just tell me one thing. Have you seen Zanarkand?
I kinda think we don't belong here.
It is time at last. We must tell the Al-Bed waiting outside to begin the operation at once. The fiends may break through. This place is not safe. Make sure you're prepared to defend yourselves. Tell me when you're ready.
Alright, so there we met up with, and was that the first time we ever met Wen Keenock? I'm not sure, but he's not a great dude. He's, almost count him as like a mid-level follower of Yevon. He's not, oh, there's a Serene Racer. I think that's good. Berserk Ward. I don't know. Berserk's not that big of a deal. Berserk is really only a problem, well, yeah, I don't know. What Berserk does is it just makes your character attack the enemies. So it's not like Confuse in that they'll attack your own characters, they only attack enemies. But anyway, so Keenock, again, I feel like he's kind of like a mid-ranged follower of Yevon. He doesn't necessarily believe in, gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like there's this group of guys that that kind of know better. They kind of know what the teachings are all about and what they're trying to do. And then they kind of like operate outside the teachings or think they, you know enough to not have to maybe adhere to everything. And he's one of those guys.
It's like Yevon
and you'll see that, you know, that may be a little complicated to kind of get, and maybe I'm not describing myself very well, but that will become more clear as time passes, and without, you know, trying to give away too much at the same time. Again, you know, I feel like anybody that's probably watching this has either played it or, you know, maybe, who knows, maybe not, maybe you haven't. So again, I don't want to try to give away everything as far as storyline. This character though here, if I can find him, this guy, I think.
Are you ready?
This is the guy that lets you proceed when you're ready. And once you say yes, that starts off this chain of events, and there's no going back. So again, if you're missing anything from like the Al-Bed primer, now's the time to get it. Sorry, previous to this is the time to get it. Once you hit yes, it sets off a chain of events, and then there's no going back.
It'll come.
I remembered Orin telling me. Sin is my old man. Sin is Jecht.
Alright, so here we go. There's our first little bit of combat here with this enemy. I don't know which one this is, Sin Spawn something or other. There's 4 parts here. Number 1, there's the, I don't know, the arms, I guess. And then there's the head, and then there's, I guess it's called the body. I think that's what it's referred to anyway. You can't really do any damage. So anyways, the head is can only be attacked with range, so like Waka or like Lulu casting spells at it. The body can be injured with melee attacks, but basically you have to kill off the arms first because the arms will protect the body. I think that's kind of it. You'll notice randomly the head will start like moving or something like that. And I don't remember, that's basically it charging up an attack, and I don't remember which attack it was. I don't remember if it was you know, like a what was the name of that there? Like a gravity attack. But anyways, just hit the head, I guess, when it starts moving. And here would be a good time to blow some limit breaks. You know, again, I kept saving them, and no, I shouldn't even say it. It wasn't that I was saving them. It was just that I was just not using them. I think there's a difference. It wasn't like I was expecting to use them for something else, you know? It was just, I don't know, got lazy, I guess. I don't know, or just didn't bother. But anyways, you're going to want to bring everybody in for this fight for sure. If I remember right, you don't actually get the rewards for this battle right after the fight. It kind of ends up being like a two-part battle. And so you're going to want to swap everybody in, you know, and at least take a turn, do it, you know, defend, do whatever you want to do at least once here, because otherwise they won't get experience for the second part of the fight. And the same thing goes with, you know, not letting anybody die. You don't want to have anybody dead at the end of this fight or the subsequent fight, because again, they won't get the sphere levels. I guess, I don't know, I almost would want to say that it'd be a good idea to cast haste on people, but the way I handle this is basically I bring everybody in and then I let Ifrit do all the work, because he's kind of a beast. And again, you know, partially that's because I've been using so many of those extra spheres that I've been getting on Yuna, and so he's just even more powerful than he, you know, might normally be, if that makes sense. All kinds of overkills there. That was nice. Eventually, I believe the arms will regenerate. The head does not. There's Demai. I don't know if he only uses Demai on if you pull out Aeons or not, because I think that the bosses are all kind of programmed for that, to do like, maybe not all of them, but some of them for sure, to do like special attacks when you have Aeons out. And that'll come, you know, into effect more for the next, or later on down the road. You'll eventually just get to bosses that'll just one-shot your Aeons. And so on that vein, you know, I would recommend not kind of sticking all your eggs in that carton. You know, you don't want to be, you know, counting on your Aeons for everything. Yes, they are insanely powerful, and they're fantastic because they're immune to status effects, but at the same time, you know, eventually you're going to run into fights there where you can't just use them, you know, in combat. And, you know, now that I think about it, the head, maybe, I'm not sure what attack it does when it, you know, when it's charging up or whatever, but maybe it's when you kill it off that it starts using Demai. I'm not sure. But here, you can see it's kind of messed up, but I'm just going to use fire a little bit to heal him back up. And, so that's a good, kind of a good, thing to keep in mind there too, is that every time you use like a magic sphere or activate a magic sphere on Yuna's grid, well, that's going to increase your Aeon's magic as well, which then, you know, in Ifrit's case, every time I use the fire spell, he'll actually heal himself for more. So, you know, again, I really feel like those extra spheres, like the strength spheres, the magic spheres, you know, so on and so forth, they're just really, really good to use on Yuna. Yes, they are good to use on your other characters too. They can kind of fill some gaps, you know, if you feel like maybe, well, this is probably going to be a horrible example, but if you feel like your physical attack is not doing much on Lulu, well, number one, that's because it's Lulu. And I would not recommend using said strength spheres on Lulu, but, you know, you could. You could if, you know, if that was something that you were doing. But again, you know, I feel like Yuna's the way to go. And there we go. There's the overkills on everything. And that Sin Spawn, I want to say, is gonna eat it, but you'll see here in a little bit that it's kind of we get the round 2 with that same Sin Spawn. But here we are. The tactic worked. Wow, and. I actually really like that it looked like creepy, weird tendrils in the ocean there. But anyways, obviously, like I said, the tactic worked. Jeez, I did that twice. The tactic worked, and we've successfully lured Sin here you know, in an attempt to take him down. And is this just not super creepy? Like, I don't know. I don't remember really what was going through my head the first time I, like, saw Sin, and I was just like, man, what is this thing? It's crazy. You know, it's like, obviously this thing doesn't, essentially doesn't belong in this world, and something super weird about it. Like, what did he just do then? He's got this crazy force field. And, like, what? How crazy is that? He just vaporized everything. Now, so not only did he vaporize like the people on the shore, the humans, and Albed and whatnot, or Crusaders, but he vaporized like his own Sin spawn. So how crazy is that? All right, here we have part 2. Alright, so for this part, you actually get to fight as Seymour. You get to control Seymour, Yuna, and Orin. I don't believe you can swap any other characters in or out of the fight. So, well, you know, once again, hopefully you've acted with your other characters before this, you know, and used them in round 1 essentially, because you won't get that option again. And this is also the only time that you can see Seymour's overdrive, which I think is worth actually, you know, watching, which I do have footage of here, so I think I need to actually cut that in because it's not looking like I have it at the end of this video. So that is what I will do. So this part, anyways, this part of the fight is not a whole lot different than the original part in all actuality. Although I believe the monster has less HP. I think that's the only real difference. And if I remember right, I was able to one-shot the head with Seymour's fire, which by the way, so Seymour is actually kind of cool in combat, anyways. Physically, he's on par with, you know, Lulu and Yuna. He just doesn't do much for physical attacks, but he does have Kira. Okay, I guess I didn't use right there, but whatever. Didn't really need it, I guess. But he's almost like a combination, a hybrid of Yuna and Lulu. The only thing that's kind of goofy about him is that you can't summon with him. So, not real sure why that is. We know that he can summon. I guess maybe because it would be OP to summon Anima here. I don't know. I guess that's my thought. But yeah, anyways. There's a cut coming up right here where I basically just fast-forwarded the battle, because all I was really doing was taking damage with Seymour in order to try to get him into overdrive. So, you know, again, that's why I mean, you're not going to get much out of it. There's just, I don't know, it ended up being, I think this fight ended up being somewhere around 10 minutes just to get him into overdrive. You know, I think maybe, I don't want to say that it would have been a good idea to kill anybody off like Yuna or something like that, because, I mean, killing people, yeah, so the reason behind that would be that then Seymour would get targeted more by enemy attacks, but at the same time, it also, you know, makes it really risky, and, you know, there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes on between the last save point and here, so it was not something that I was really willing to do. So I basically just stuck it out and, you know, took the damage and whatnot. But here's the cut. Alright, so it looks like we're getting ready to to fire up Seymour's overdrive. In all honesty, I don't know. It looks really cool, but it doesn't do as much damage, I think, as I, you know, expect it would have. But you know what? Whatever. It's still cool. Yeah, look at that. Kind of reminds me of, like, Ultima. Yeah, no, 2K. Okay. Not actually, you know, that would be actually really impressive. I mean, in comparison to some of the other characters' overdrives, that actually is really good. So, yeah. Anyways, that's Requiem, and then I'm just gonna finish this guy off. I don't think that this guy's rewards are affected at all by if you overkill him or not. You know, my impression is that you get 6 level 1 key spheres no matter what. Now, I think I overkilled... I don't know, did I overkill the first half? I don't remember. Anyways. And Seymour gets all kinds of sphere levels. He must be a wimp. There they are. Yep. So 6 level 1 key spheres and an alert shield. I don't know if that's good or not.
The others!
All right, so it was looking good there for a while, but obviously the Crusaders and the Albeds contraption or the Machina did not work, unfortunately. So here we've kind of got the aftermath where, you know, Titus is washed up on the shore essentially. And yeah, you can really, I think this really shows you know, the true destructive power of sin. You know, if Kilika Village wasn't enough, this should really hammer it home, I guess. I mean, they were completely prepared for him. You know, they kind of gave him everything they had. And, you know, again, I mentioned this in some of the other videos where, you know, Operation Mihen is kind of this huge pivotal part of the story, or a huge part of the story. And, you know, the reason being is already this. I mean, essentially this, the aftermath. You know, again, they were completely ready for him. They had everything set up, and it didn't work.
What's going on? Why? What's going on?
And there you have Gata just, you know, completely beside himself. Kind of just in disbelief that, you know, things turned out this way. You know, just the sheer amount of people that were lost here.
Don't you run away from me!
Everyone, stand back! I'll summon!
You won't hurt it! Your powers are still too weak.
But Must do something!
You can't!
And there you have Seymour stopping Yuna, saying that, you know, basically just stop. There's nothing that you can do right now. You know, you're not ready, essentially. You're not ready yet. And Titus swimming after Sin out of anger. Sin slash
no
eject.
idea what I was thinking when I ran after Sin that day. Before I knew what I was doing, there I was, chasing him down like a thief at market.
Chasing him
Maybe
down
I was
like a thief at
angry.
market.
Maybe I wanted
I like
to go
that
home.
phrase for whatever reason.
I kept thinking of Xanarkand and my old man.
Alrighty. And I think this is a shot of the far plane. That was my impression. Oddly enough, I believe this exact area, or this background, however you want to say it, is used at the end of the game too, so you can kind of remember it. And look, oh, there's the little kid. That's sad. And then obviously Luzu's here. And this kid, who we see everywhere. All right. Anywho. Yeah, okay. So this is kind of a memory.
They say you don't practice anymore. That you're gonna retire.
Let them talk. I'm still the best.
They say you're no good because you drink all the time.
I can quit drinking whenever I want.
Then do it now.
What did you say?
You just said you can.
Tomorrow, maybe.
Why not today?
Why do today what you can leave for tomorrow? There he goes again, crying.
I thought I sensed my old man there. Somewhere. Or maybe it was just Sin's toxin playing tricks on my mind. How many died today? People die and Yuna dances. When will she stop dancing? When will it stop? Yuna won't stop dancing, not until Sin is gone. Those were my thoughts then, I think.
I see you're still here.
Huh?
Many stories ended here today. But yours goes on, I see.
What? Sin had come and gone, but I remained here.
All right, so you got the dream sequence there of Titus confronting his father about his drinking, and you know, essentially him saying, "Well, I'm not gonna quit today. I can just quit tomorrow. No big deal."
You were in contact with Sin again.
But anyways, you know what? We gotta cut this. So like, comment, subscribe.
Are you okay?
Whatever you guys want to do. Hope the guys are helpful though. Hope you're enjoying them, and hope you join me for more. All right, thank you for watching.
You should let her know you're all right.